Okay, now you know how sometimes in celebrity couple shows, there's always going to be somebody that'll make the internet all collectively say, there is no way this is a real human being. Well, he is, and he's on Viva La Romance this season, and his name is Sun Yang, the national icon of Olympic swimming. And every Thursday at 12 p.m, millions of people are now tuning in to Mango TV, not for the romance, not for the travel, certainly not for the Olympics. They're all here to witness the glory of this man trying to figure out how to become a tour guide for 7 other celebrities in St Petersburg, and so far, it is not pretty. Because the last few episodes already landed him with man-child allegations, and that's before he left his kitchen. So I guess in today's episode, the good news is that the trip has finally made it out of the group chat. The bad news though, Sun Yang has officially began tour guiding. So following up from the last episode, the group finally arrives in Russia and prepares for their first official day in St. Petersburg, and everybody's excited to start their day. Everybody except Dodo, his wife. See, because last night, a plan was derived to meet at 9:50 a.m. sharp at the Grand Europe Hotel lobby, and from there onwards, they make their way to the Hermitage Museum as the first stop of the trip. 9:50 a.m., that's the instruction everybody received from Sun Yang. Comes 9:53 a.m., the cameras cut to Sun Yang's room. Sun Yang hasn't left the room. Ooh, now this is a stance of somebody who is mad, because instead of dropping everything and heading to the door, Sun Yang's decided to complete his morning rituals of getting his macros in and running a triple check of the interior. Evidently, he's stressing Dodo more and more as I speak. Hey, time's ticking, honey! Gotcha, he says, as he takes a hard left away from the exit. Now, you gotta remember this moment carefully, because despite doing a triple check around the whole vicinity, he still forgets something. So the couple finally leaves their hotel room, and by this point, it's 5 minutes past the meeting time, which is not too bad, you know, better late than never. Although I'm just not sure whether or not that sentence applies when you're the guy with the plans. They get downstairs, and that's when Sun Yang finds out, oh, he's actually not the last one there. Now he's thinking, man, I'm copping all this flack first thing in the morning from my wife telling me to hurry up, and I'm not even late. Sun Yang begins his first hissy fit of the day right at the hotel lobby.
宝宝，不要急，不要急，哪怕是最后一个，你也不要急，不要弄得很狼狈，懂吗？
不狼狈呀，哥。
每天都是埋怨，真的是。再说我也没有最后一个呀。
See, now one of the husbands starts noticing. Mahdi, he starts listening in, signals his wife, yo, check it out, these guys are arguing again. And I say again because this is not the first time he's complained to his wife in front of a group, which is counterintuitive because you're hearing the stuff he's complaining about, right? On one hand, he's saying to his wife, Dodo, you're making me look bad for rushing me all the time. But on the other hand, I feel like I've never had a worse opinion of him until I saw this scene right on television, right? So Sun Yang's downloading his discontent into Dodo. Now, Mahdi, he's not exactly a fan of Sun Yang. Because every time on this reality show you see Sun Yang talk something ridiculous, Mahdi's always on the side just like, man, this guy's tripping. I'll give you a good example. So a couple episodes back when they all first met and the group was doing a classic icebreaker round, Mahdi's wife got kind of curious about Sun Yang and Dodo's relationship, throws them a pretty softball question. So, between the two of you, who pursued who first? Now, I feel like this is a question that doesn't require too much thinking, but Sun Yang starts calling for a friend. So Dodo sees him struggling and decides to help him out, and she recounts. I mean, when we first met, you kept sending me messages all the time, so I took that as a sign that you were trying to chase me. He hears that and was like, fine, I guess it's me then.
我俩，
反正我觉得你一直给我发微信就是想追我的感觉。
就是我追的，还挺委屈你啊，整的还挺委屈。
So the other husbands immediately clock that energy because, hey, you sound pretty upset. Are you embarrassed to admit that you found your own wife attractive first? Or maybe he was thinking of having his persona as the I don't chase, I attract type of guy. And that question obviously didn't do him much favors, so I don't know. So Sun Yang tried to recover. No, our relationship is a little different from you guys. And before he can make his point, that's where Mahdi comes in.
你们不太一样，
你就承认你追他能怎么样呢？你在坚持什么？
没有不成。对，是了。
So Mahdi saw an opportunity to back Sun Yang into a wall. That man took it. It's a dangerous world out here for Sun Yang. So now back at the hotel lobby, everybody's waiting for the last couple to show, whilst Mahdi's keeping himself busy with the gossip, and then the final couple arrives downstairs. But nobody's really saying anything about them being late because this couple, they're kind of like the seniors in the group, right? So they're doing the courtesies like, hey, good morning, you guys look fresh, and hey, I gotta be honest, they do look kind of fresh. That's the Pinterest couple. Husbands decked out head-to-toe Burberry style, and Annie, the wife, matching the energy. The camera then cuts back to Sun Yang and Dodo again. Hey, he's still mid-tantrum.
我已经做得很努力了， 如果你觉得我这做不好的话，那你就别跟我一起录。
哎呀，好了好了，走吧走。
出门吧。
It's going to be a long day for Dodo. So the group makes it out of the hotel lobby and begins to walk towards the first objective of the day, which is the museum. So during the walk on the way, Soo-young's like, hey, I bought this camera. And he's hyping it up. He's hyping up the camera. Like, you'll see why I bought this. I'm going to take all the pictures. It's going to be fire. They get to the museum, and the group has a wonderful time learning about the history of the country, and then they get to this really nice hallway situated at the staircase intersection. Looks real bougie. The wives immediately recognize, oh, that's the spot. I've got to get the photos over here. Soo-young takes out his camera. Hey, that's why I brought the camera. Tries to turn it on. And, oh, that's when he realized, oh shit, didn't bring the battery. Forgot the battery. This man spent the morning stressing Dodo out because he's got to get everything ready. Triple checks before he left too. Hyped it up all the way and literally forgot the most important thing. No battery, no photos. Hey, I can relate with that, you know. I once had an incident where I left the morning thinking I was brewing a stew, spent the whole day at work drooling. Man, I got this killer ass stew slow cooking at home. It's going to be delicious. And then I get back home and find out, oh. But luckily, the other husband with a camera in the group was able to sub in and take nice photos for the wives. Soo-young, on the other hand, not having a good run so far. So they finish the photo shoot and the group then arrives at the souvenir shop, and that's where Soo-young immediately had his eyes on the prize, with the golden eggs in the corner. See, that's how you know he's a champion for real, because his eyes are on the gold and nothing else. Honey, we should buy this. 33,000 rubles, 450 bucks. He's dedicated to take the gold home. Dodo immediately realizes this is a terrible idea, because if we buy this and everyone else buys this too, we are not going to have any money for food. Nah, we got money.
有钱，哎呀，老想着没钱。要不我觉得陈耀
Hello.
Calls one of the husbands over. Yo, I was thinking we buy this size, 8 of them. 8 of them. Now, see, when Soo-young says we have the money, Soo-young has a point, because the group technically does have the money. But the only thing is that they have about 400,000 rubles in total as a group budget, which is roughly 5,500 US dollars. So Soo-young's thinking, we get 8 of these, which priced at 33,000 rubles each, that's 256,000 rubles. That's almost 4 bands dropped at the museum gift shop on their first day. That's what we, regular thinking people, might call one hell of an impulse buy. In the previous episode, Dodo has already raised this point. He's not the type to be meticulous with money. When asked what she thought about Soo-young being the tour guide, I guess she was not lying. So Dodo's over here trying to stop a financial catastrophe, but he's over here still trying to throw her under the bus for stopping him. You guys see how hard it is for me at home now? I have to get my wife's approval for everything. And then he starts asking Annie's husband, trying to get the senior of the group to back him up. Hey, should us husbands get it? We should just get it. And Annie's husband gives it to him straight.
浩哥，咱老公能买吗？
咱买这玩意儿干嘛呀？外面有人了还要送啊？
我拿回去啊。
老公，你会不会说话呀？
So against the overwhelming odds rejection from all parties pretty much, Soo-young forfeits the decision to drop 250,000 rubles at a museum gift shop, whilst everybody else picks a budget-friendly gift. At this point, Marty's already outside on a bench with his wife. They are not getting involved. So the girls finish picking souvenirs, and Annie's got a really cool one that her husband picked for her, and she's like showing it to Dodo, and Dodo's just responding to her like, oh nice, I got the same one as you, your husband has good taste. Poor choice of words, you see, because out of nowhere, that's where Soo-young comes in to throw his second hissy fit at Dodo for praising Annie's husband's gift-picking ability.
不是你这当着
啊，你也特别好，
啥意思嘛，老婆？
老公你特别好，你的眼光更好。
来，take it。
Now you see at this point, Dodo's response is just instinctive. Soo-young just gives her that one little pout and she already knows what the problem is, starts catering to his emotional needs. So once again, Soo-young's reputation, not having a good run this episode. So after barely surviving that segment of financial Armageddon, the group then heads towards the next destination on a carriage ride. Everybody gets on. The group's on their way to a cafe. Now, you'd be thinking, being in a horse carriage as a passenger being transported from point A to point B leaves pretty much no room for error. Well, you're right, for about 10 meters, because that's where they then encounter the first major incident of the trip. Now, this part made a lot of people mad at Soo-young for real, because at about 10 meters after the U-turn point where the carts are parked, that's where Tin-ho, Annie's husband, asks a question. Where's our stuff? The group starts panicking. Like, oh yeah, where is it? Where's the souvenirs we bought? Did we leave it at the store? Now, here's what actually happened. Because you know how Sun Yang packed such a huge backpack in the morning? Well, that was a good decision because turns out there was a lot of room in the bag. Nice thinking, Sun Yang, this was well needed. So this Pinterest couple, Qinhao and Annie, gave their souvenirs to Sun Yang because you want to walk hands-free, right? So Sun Yang packed them in his backpack. Now the backpack is in the carriage, we all saw it come on. Sun Yang should know it's in the backpack because he packed it, but everybody must have forgot in the heat of the moment. I feel like this is a situation that happens to everybody, but Sun Yang's reaction is certainly unique. So now Dodo first starts to comfort Sun Yang, like it's okay, there are gonna be ways, like he's a bomb or something. The two couples sees that, gets a realization, oh, that is probably not a good sign, he is not in a good mood, avoids eye contact immediately. And then he looks kind of annoyed, he goes, I'm gonna stop and go get it. I'm gonna go get it.
没事没事，有办法有办法。
完了，停下来，先去取，我去取吧。师傅 ，stop！
不要了，不用了。
So they're trying to stop him, but he's out of control, stops the carriage in the middle of the road, leaps out of the carriage, traffic is building up.
先不拿了，先走吧，走吧。不用，别等了。
没事，你们先靠前面等一下。
你跟他说往边停一下好吗？不要挡住别的车子。
Now, I think we can all agree that might have been a slight overreaction. So Sun Yang runs to the shop, realizes the gift isn't there. Dodo then realizes, oh, maybe we should check his backpack. And yep, it's been there all along. Sun Yang then calms down from the jog, I'm assuming, returns to the carriage, pulls out the egg, and the couple is just speechless for the next couple of seconds.
是不是这个？
对，就这个蛋。老公，你啥时候放进去的？
无语了，就我自己都无语。
Yeah. I think the intention is good, right? But the problem is that by reacting so dramatically, he's created this huge sense of pressure for the couple who's put their stuff in his bag. Meanwhile, the netizens are picking up on the fact that this guy is not only impulsive, but he seems like he also refuses to listen to advice when shit hits the fan. So after the carriage ride, the couples all get a short lunch break before heading towards the second attraction on Sun Yang's itinerary, a historic bookstore, where the group arrives on foot. Now, the outside temperature is currently 5 to 10 degrees Celsius, or around 40 to 50 for our friends in the US. And the first thing they start noticing upon entering the bookstore is that the bookstore has the heater cranked all the way up to 28 degrees or 82 degrees Fahrenheit, right? So the building is really hot. The group literally starts deteriorating. Marty's the first to crack. It's dry and hot. And you know, once one person says it out loud, everybody will start joining in. Captain, we want some water. Everyone's saying the same thing, right? Water. Very simple request, very achievable mission. Sun Yang hears that. Okay, you guys sit first. Tell me what you want to drink and I'll handle it. Oh, nice. Sounds like he's going to buy us some water. Wrong. Takes out his phone. I'm going to read you guys the history of the bookstore. 100 years worth of history. See, Mahdi has that look like, I beg your pardon, and Sun Yang starts reading all 100 years of the history of the bookstore, and that's a very long time. But that's okay. Sun Yang could be a fast reader, some people say. No. He's tripping over the words too.
开业于1919年的蒂克书店是经营人士圣彼得堡最大的书店之一，在本身就是古迹的建筑内。
So whilst everybody's fighting the heat, Sun Yang's fighting those paragraphs, the syllables are bobbing and weaving off his tongue, everybody's just dying, but he does finish the history lecture and then finally comes to his senses. What do you guys want to drink? Water, just water, please. So Sun Yang goes off to order the water, and at this point you think, oh, surely after everything that's happened so far, this must be the redemption moment. You can't possibly mess up a simple task like this. Yeah. But luckily for us, this reality TV genius still has a few tricks up his sleeve, because this man returns to the group looking proud as hell as he announces, I ordered 8 types. 8 types? Well, 8 types of water. Oh wow, everybody's wondering, 8 types of water? How fancy is this place? Oh, I didn't even order water, I got tea. I got 8 types of boiling hot tea. And then he says with no confidence behind that sentence, it seems like they don't even serve water in this bookstore. Dodo's speechless at the back, and he's like, I cannot believe this is happening. Marty's taking off his jacket, the whole squad is in shambles, and that's when Annie stands up. I don't believe this. She's had it up to here with the fake news. Goes to the cafe. Guess what she found on the menu?
Actually, you don't have water, right? Yeah, cold water. Can we have 8 ice water?
Now at this point, Sun Yang can do with a bit of lingo pie, which I'm willing to bet not only teaches you how to read the menu so you don't stuff up ordering water, but also whole short stories. When will that ever come in handy, Jeff? Well, you ever wonder what it's like to read one of those Russian mob boss falls in love with me novels, but in actual Russian? Well, the good news is we live in the 21st century now. If the people want to hear Tempted by Power being narrated in a foreign language, then the people deserve to receive what they want. How's that for personalized learning, huh? See, LingoPie really knows what's up. Short stories or e-dictionary? How about both? It's called reading mode. Because LingoPie recognizes that apart from helping you learn with shows and movies, another research-backed consistent way to study a new language and improve vocabulary is through reading, but it's difficult to get started without help. So how about clicking the words you're struggling on and getting an instant translation? It's the same thing that you get when you're watching any of the 3,000 plus movies and TV shows on their platform, except now it applies to short stories as well. Of course, you can still test yourself with flashcards. It's like a tutor who now reads with you, and they have a whole team of writers just to create amazing short stories. So if you want to learn and read at the same time in more than 10 languages, and you want an app that can bring books to life like you're hearing a real-life conversation, you gotta use LingoPie. Grab the 7-day free trial using my link for 55% off in your first year. So Dodo's trying to salvage the situation, like can we still return the tea? Because gotta remember, they're double spending now, but it's too late. The order has already been made. So right now, the group morale is at an all-time low. Soo-young then decides now is the perfect opportunity to explain to the whole squad that he still has a full day of diabolical ideas planned ahead. That's right, there's more where that came from. Okay, how about we go to a century-old donut shop, known for its long line-up time, and then I'm thinking, a scavenger hunt, where we try to find a little mouse in a 1 million square foot building. And then when we're done with that, let's treat ourselves at a candy store. Oh, perfect day. Marty's hearing those plans looking like he's about to scrap, turns to the group and goes, yeah, let's not do any of that. How about the Church of Savior, huh? Maybe if we all pray, the demons will leave, Sun-young. Church of the Savior closes at 5 p.m. All the candy shops and stuff close at 9. Can we do that when it's cooler? The other husband immediately jumps in. That's a great idea. Why don't we go right now? Oh, right. The tea. 8 iron buckets of boiling hot water coming right up. Marty starts powering through cup after cup because he's clearly trying to be a good sport about the whole situation, but even he starts tapping out after the 4th cup. I genuinely can't do this anymore. The water level's up to my neck. And somehow, Sun-young still has the audacity to say, hey, it's 3,000 rupees, don't waste the tea.
一杯接一杯，我真到这儿了。
我这茶别浪费，3000多的茶呢。
你喝呀，你别说呀，我都喝4杯了。
包容量大，你可以多喝呀。
我这
Why don't you drink it? I've had 4 cups. So the group finishes off the tea and begins their journey towards the Church of the Savior. And you think surely now, Sun-young has exhausted his bag of tricks by now, but it turns out this man is also catastrophically bad at navigation. Now, this one's genuinely funny. Okay, so this is where the bookstore is situated, right? The blue line is the direction they're supposed to go to reach the Church of the Savior. Now, the red line is the line they actually walked under Sun-young's navigation. Although, if you ask me, I think this is merely a teaser of what's coming. But I must say, the time spent at the church is relatively smooth sailing as far as meltdowns go, until we hit this one scene over dinner, where the topic of discussion about marriage then comes up after all the couples took turns sharing their magic moments of proposals. The question then gets to Sun-young, how did your wedding go?
你们没办结婚吗？
就很多原因嘛，对，很多原因。
In which Sun-young then breaks down in tears halfway through the explanations, because this is where we actually find out for real that despite the couple officially announcing their marriage in July 2023, he was not actually able to give Dodo a proper wedding ceremony. And Qianhao was like, okay, well, explain yourself, right? It's not because you don't want to.
很多原因，
不是因为不想办，这很多原因，然后就推迟了，就是。
对，也不是。就浩刚问想不想办，其实不是不想办，就是说。 就是我觉得刚才静姐你讲的时候，我感触特别深，你知道吗？
缓，老公。
And that's where Sun-young breaks into tears trying to explain.
小声。
他今天说了，他泪点比较低。
对，我们慢慢来。要不然我说吧。
Right, so after Dodo tries to sub in on why the wedding couldn't exactly happen, Sun-young then catches his second wind and explains to the group the reason why he wasn't able to give her a proper wedding ceremony is because at the time, he was at his lowest point in life. Sun-young talked about still wanting to return competitively and rebuild his career after the suspension controversy and set a new world record as the oldest gold medalist in Olympic swimming, which is pretty cool to see as a spectator, but sucks for Dodo, who'd be waiting until 2028 to get a wedding she deserves. So that's just food for thought. But hey, None of that had the netizens screaming justice for Dodo as loud as the Sunyang tram incident that occurred the very next day. Rise and shine, ladies and gentlemen. It's a brand new day under Sunyang's lead as a tour guide. Big day coming up. The plan is simple, more than simple, matter of fact, a walk in the park in terms of difficulty. So here's the plan. Everybody's going to go to St Petersburg State University. Everybody's going to take a tram to get there. It's about a 1-hour tram ride. The tram station is about 5-10 minutes walk away. So what could possibly go wrong on a 5-10 minute walk? So just like the first day, the group meets at the hotel lobby. This time, everybody's punctual. Smooth so far. Everybody starts walking to the tram station, and this is where we learn Annie's husband, Qin Hao, caught a slight fever from yesterday, so he's feeling a little sick. But then again, it's a 5-10 minute walk. He can probably handle it. So everybody's chit-chatting. Sunyang, as usual, complaining all the way why Dodo isn't holding his hand, but it's nothing we haven't seen so far. Everybody, matter of fact, is enjoying this sweet little morning stroll. Hey, Sunyang, asked one of the husbands. How far are we now from the 5-minute walk? Sunyang checks the map. Oh, it's another 14 minutes maybe. Alright, nice. Wait, hold up, what? Sunyang then goes on to explain. Oh, I think my map is playing up. Maybe the internet's a bit slow in St. Petersburg, you see, which it could be the case. Signal might be rough, but nothing Sunyang can't handle because all we're gonna do is straight up now. Straight up, turn right. Says it 3 times. So the group then follows straight up ahead. They turn right, and that's when one of the couples, Mahdi and Li Chun, says in unison, Yo, did we just go in a circle? Sunyang starts checking the navigation again. Still 14 minutes left. Also, now the group starts getting a little concerned because the tram leaves at 10:30 a.m. It's now 10:11. We still have 14 minutes left. We could miss the tram. But Sunyang's not panicking. Oh, it's right up ahead. So the group then walks along until Li Chun, Mahdi's wife, literally points out, No, I think we're definitely walking in a circle because I can see our hotel now. They cut to the bird's eye view. This is what they're doing. Sunyang takes ownership. Everybody, it's my fault. It's my fault, guys. My navigation's playing tricks with me. Guys, I think Sunyang's navigation has a problem. Yes, Sunyang's the navigation. Don't blame yourself. Sunyang's like, navigation? Yeah, it is the navigation's fault. But who said the navigation? I said the navigation. It is still my fault, guys. Nobody responds. But see, on one hand, Sunyang realizes the navigation tool seems to be incorrect, but on the other hand, he's still insisting on trusting the navigation tool. So of course then, under Sunyang's lead, the group is heading further and further away from the designated tram station, and halfway through the walk, Annie then comes to the realization maybe Sunyang's doubling down on his mistakes again, and suggests a brilliant idea. She tells Sunyang to send the address to the group chat so we can all navigate together. Sunyang ignores the suggestion. Oh, it's just right up ahead now. So by this point, Annie's getting a little mad because her husband has a fever. She then stops Sunyang for a second. Hey, Sunyang, I'm thinking next time we all set off, can everybody navigate together? I'm getting older. I'm not really suitable for such big detours because these days you keep doing things like this. Oh, let's go. Sorry. No, it's okay. Yeah, I just get tired too easily. Now, if you're wondering how old Annie is, she's about 58 years old. Now, that's not really old, but let's all agree that is an age where you've earned the right to say F walking. Sunyang's still ignoring the suggestion, still going, oh, it's just right up ahead. We just go through the intersection. The director of the reality show then comes in and she's telling him to double check his coordinates because it's not looking right. But he's insisting that it's right. So literally refusing to change his ways, the group by this point is moving further and further away from the tram station that's allegedly a 5-minute walk. This happens until Mahdi gets the correct coordinates from Dodo. And the couple then realizes immediately that the correct spot is behind them. Mahdi comes up to confront Sunyang.
Sunyang!
Hey Sunyang, let's check the coordinates. Mine says turn left and you arrive. Okay, but I don't know why my navigation says it's behind us. Well, mine says turn left and you'll arrive. Okay, I see your point, but I'm using 2 phones. Okay, but mine says turn left and you'll get there at this location. So both of them are standing on business. Annie then comes in and tells Mahdi to back off because Sunyang is clearly tripling down on ego navigating. And plus, Annie says if he literally says turn left and we're there, well then let's just turn left and see if it's there. Alright, let's go and see. The group then turns left and hey, what do you know? Not even something that resembles a tram station. So Sunyang's losing control of the situation, couldn't believe it. He couldn't believe it, I'm gonna go ahead and check. He runs off and check. Whilst the group now is doing an emergency meeting without Sunyang because by this point, it's already 11 o'clock because of all the walking and stopping. Last boarding time is 10:30, so even if Sunyang is right, no point going to the station anymore because by this point, the group has already moved on to the next topic. Let's just find another way to get there. Camera cuts to Sunyang. He's still going through 7 stages of grief. No way, can't be wrong. The address must be correct. And that's when the staff members comes in to check the address again. And as it turns out, the correct address was sent to Sun Yang in the morning. Sun Yang's using the one from yesterday. And that's when the realization hits Sun Yang. They've walked in total roughly 1 hour in the opposite direction. So Sun Yang comes back to the group, devises a new plan. Now, this is a master at work. His plan, the 4 girls take a taxi, go straight to the university. As for us husbands, we can just walk there. Which is crazy, because let's just dissect what he just said. If he means us husbands walk to the tram station, well, that doesn't make sense. Let's not even count the fact that it'll be a crazy long walk back. The tram's already left at 10:30. There's no point going now. If he means us husbands, let's walk to the university, well, the start of the video tells us it's a 1-hour tram ride. So I guess his real question would be better phrased as who's up for a marathon? So Annie rejects instantly. No, nobody separates. Her husband is sick. He's probably going to die under Sun Yang's lead. She's not going to let him do that. So it looks like Sun Yang's out of options. The group literally doesn't want to follow anymore. Everybody's trying to take the subway. That's where Sun Yang decides the best way to now sort out the situation is not to take the subway with everybody else. It's to call a taxi that takes him to the tram station. Dodo's just on the side. Did I just hear that right? You're still going to the tram area? I thought we're taking a taxi. We might as well take it to the university. Sun Yang then explains himself in the interview. I want to take a look at it myself to see with my own 2 eyes whether or not the tram has left, and if it has, then I'll give up. Okay, so by this point, logic is out the window, because what's the next move even if the tram is there? Oh, let's take a taxi to the tram and take a tram to the university. Oh my god, he's a genius. So nobody's responding to his plan. Sun Yang then tries to get Annie on his side. Annie just backs out of the conversation before he could even finish his sentence. Hey Annie, I already got a taxi, so in that case, I'll go first. You guys go first, we'll take the subway. Anyways, university. My goodness, this is a hard watch. So the rest of the group then finds their own way to the university while Sun Yang calls and boards his Uber. Dodo still trying to talk him out of it.
老公，我想跟你说个事情，你先听我理一理啊。老公，你先等，你先听我讲一下。
走车已经来了，Go Go Go。
老公，你听我讲一下。老公，现在问题是他们是直接去那个。
Not listening. Dodo, with the patient of a saint, still trying to explain to the boy, hey, so they're all going to the university, right? Listen to me, let's just go straight there too, because we're a team, honey. She's trying really hard. Sun Yang's not hearing it. Look, I get it. You want to do everything right, but they're going to the subway now. That means their destination is to go directly to this university. Sun Yang then tries to justify his actions. No, Annie told me to go there first, and if there's a problem, then they won't go. And then I gave some change to Qinhao, the husband. Then Qinhao said if there's no problem, then he would take the whole group there to the tram station. So Dodo hears that logic and starts to do the maths in her head. No, I think Annie's just trying to say that to get you off her back, and Qinhao, the husband, is just saying he'll go if there's no problem to be polite. Because why would anybody still go to the tram station at this point when it's half an hour past the last boarding time? But by this point, Dodo's not arguing anymore. She is trying to comfort Sun Yang. Follow his logic. Okay, no problem. No problem at all. Then we go to the location of the tram now to see if the tram is still running. It doesn't matter, I'll go with you. What a saint, ladies and gentlemen. They get to the station, no tram.
这是哪里啊，老公？
电车站应该就是在这个地方。
那这没有电车，乖乖。
It is a rough day as a Sun Yang fan. See, I feel like the only thing he's really proved, though, is how much of a saint his wife is and how much in shambles he'd be without her emotionally. And you also feel very embarrassed, right? No, it's because they are older than us. Yes, they are older. And we are athletes, so relatively speaking, they're older than us. I just don't want them to walk more. Yes, we all know, just try to relax. Hey, I feel like this is supposed to be a very private moment. But then again, they put that on the show. Why would you put yourself through this? Sun Yang then has to pull himself together and finally takes a taxi to the university. What a mission. But even after all that, though, I must say the group is still fairly pandering towards Sun Yang's feelings after they met up at the university. Probably in fear that if anything negative is said to Sun Yang, he's going to collapse into himself. Well, unless you count this one scene where Mahdi, he did say something. You can't help with anything and all you do is stress out. And then you start blaming her for everything. Okay, well honey, be honest, can I solve this or not? Just look at her face, pal. But that scene has now been deleted by Mango TV, so whatever he said must have been crazy to warrant that reaction. We will never know what it is. You know what is crazier though? Later that night, the group had a dinner celebrating Jinsha's birthday, which is one of the wives of the group. But even then, during somebody else's birthday celebration, the attention still slowly shifted back towards comforting Sun Yang so he doesn't feel too guilty about the tram situation earlier in the day. But to be fair, it's also kind of hard to ignore that sad face at the table. There, you'll be alright. See, I'm convinced at this point Dodo at home probably has to tug him into bed first before she gets to their child. The netizens are also saying that after this trip, the whole group has pretty much become top-rated kindergarten teachers after they all took turns in rotation to comfort the group leader. Yeah, I think we should have let him manage the money at the time instead of let him manage the routes. Yeah, the navigation isn't really reliable, so it's all the navigation's fault. It's also Yang's fault. Let's ask him for his phone and smash it. But hey, see, Annie has a point too, because you think it's over. But this situation happened again the next day, right before the tour guide hands off to the next person as well. Because the reality TV demon really had to pull one last move on the poor couple, Annie and Qinhao, and this one is just genuinely insane. Where he sees Qinhao struggling, trying to call an Uber, and that's when Suyang decided to come over and help him out. Oh no. So he grabs Qinhao's phone and he's like, alright, I'm gonna call the Uber right over here, so when you guys head downstairs, you guys don't have to walk too far. The Uber then arrives, they come downstairs, and the Uber's nowhere to be seen. Can't find it. Suyang, the Uber demon, then comes down to double check. Oh, actually, I think it's around the corner. And they start walking all the way to the flip side of the building, and the Uber's parked over there. So they hop in the car. Let's finally go. The Uber then does a U-turn, makes a left, and parks at the exact spot where they first came down the stairs.
到了 Here? No.
我天，
No.
那为啥孙杨走了，他不是在这儿？
他现在自己不坑了，专坑我们了。
So at this point, Mr. Hao is just like, Sun Yang, you scare me the most when you say two things. Number one, let me try. Number two, trust me. But with this blunder out the way, the group then officially hands over the tour guide duty to the next husband of the group, Ma Di, who pretty much as expected is on top of everything. And I feel like with Sun Yang not being the tour guide, the show does lose a bit of its soul, because I'm actually kind of starting to like this guy if it wasn't for the way he treats his wife sometimes. Another interesting thing to note is that the show did do a press release halfway through episode 4, where the controversies got to a point where Sun Yang had to drop a police report for cyberbullying campaigns launched against him, which honestly at that point has just gone too far. So to calm down the backlash, Sun Yang then addresses a lot of the man-child allegation questions from reporters in that press release, where he essentially leans back to the idea that it's because he's been an athlete for so long, so he's still learning the curve on how to really interact with society, which is a valid point again until you find out Dodo is also a world record Olympic athlete. And she seems like she's relatively normal and doing all the heavy lifting for Sun Yang when it comes to emotional support. Anyways, this has been fun. Viva La Romance. I'll see you next time.